I'm Naomi Rose. I'm a PhD in marine biology, and I went to school at the University of California at Santa Cruz and did my dissertation on male killer whales in the wild. Most of what they tell people about killer whales is wrong. We've been studying these animals now for about 50 years in the wild, in a lot of different places. In all of those many thousands of hours of observation, we've never seen one killer whale kill another. Whereas in captivity, these altercations, these aggressive interactions actually occur relatively frequently. Animals are injured all the time. And in one case, we know that a female who would never have had this interaction in the wild because she was from Iceland and the other whale was from the Pacific Northwest. So they were from completely different oceans, completely different populations. But she attacked another whale so violently, she rammed this animal so hard that she broke her own jaw, she broke a bone in her jaw, she sliced an artery, and in front of an entire audience of people at SeaWorld, she bled out and died. That sort of incident has never been observed in the wild. Nobody has ever recorded a killer whale killing a human being, whereas in captivity, dozens of people have been injured. And again, it's not because the whale doesn't know that a person is a person or might be injured, it's because they are frustrated and they're put in such close confinement that what might be a normal degree of aggression escalates very quickly. In the open ocean, that just doesn't happen. Of all the species that don't belong in captivity, do not thrive there, are of no value in education or conservation by being in captivity, orcas top the list. But it's not just whether you acquire these animals from the wild, it's whether they thrive and do well once you have them confined. SeaWorld for the last 50 years has been telling people that orcas thrive in captivity. They do great there, they breed, they're happy. And they are none of those things. They don't live as long. Their birth rate is abnormally high, quite frankly, because they don't allow the females to have a normal interval between births. They are pumping out babies so quickly they die young. How is any of that good from either a welfare or a conservation perspective? In the wild, a killer whale mother might have her first calf at between the age of 12 and 15, very similar to human beings, and she will have a calf every 5 years after that on average. SeaWorld and the other facilities in the industry, they claim that they only separate mothers and calves when it's for the good of the individual animals, when it benefits them. There's absolutely no benefit to separating a mother and her calf before the calf is ready. So in captivity, they're separating them at 18 months, at 2 years. That is the same as taking a toddler away from his or her mother. The reason they separate mothers from their calves is because at that age, just like the terrible twos in human beings, they become disruptive to the show. Whenever they do that, they are breaking a bond that in nature would last for life. I feel very strongly that most of these animals can be returned to a state where they're sort of semi-independent, where they can come and go, where humans are still there to take care of the needs that they can't satisfy themselves. There's about 45 captive orcas in the world today, and I think every single one of them can be retired to a sea pen. And quite frankly, if they're in a sea pen, you can have it open to the public. People can buy tickets to go see that. So the facilities don't even have to lose out financially. I just don't see why this isn't an option for them. I'm not interested in shutting SeaWorld down. I don't have any interest in that. I'm not interested in business. I'm interested in whale welfare, animal welfare, orca welfare. SeaWorld's a corporation. It's a business. It makes money. Once it hears what its public wants, it will change its practices. That's how every bad practice has ever been changed in history, is when the public has finally stood up and said no. They have to write a letter, change their vacation plans. Let SeaWorld know they changed their vacation plans. That's how this is all going to change.